again. Today I'm going to do the first YouTubey video I think I've ever done, and I'm just gonna sit here and be vain and talk about me, because who doesn't like talking about themselves? I don't know. I'm running out of ideas of videos already. That's not worrying at all, and I don't know, I just thought a lot of people do this and I thought I can do it too, because sod it, it's my channel. And today it's gonna be dead quick, and I tried to make it interesting, and it's 5 interesting facts about me. Turns out I'm not that interesting and I really struggled with this, but you know, here's 5 facts. 5 facts about me. Number 1. Well, as most people know, I own a retro video game shop and a comic store, but I do think that is actually a really interesting point. I dropped out of college twice. I then got a job when I was 19 working for Game, and I loved it, I really did. And by the time I was 20, I was promoted into management, like the lowest form of management, and I got paid next to nothing, but I was a manager. I opened and closed the shop, I learned how to run a game shop, and then I decided that I loved the people, I loved the job, I loved games, but I didn't want to work the game. And I naively thought when I was 22 that I can do it better, and I opened my own shop, and I was gonna just be a secondhand shop like CEX, but I was gonna sell retro games as well, just because when I was starting to get the stock together, I got a hold of some retro stuff. Turns out I was the only person to sell retro games in Liverpool, and that part just blossomed, and I very quickly, literally within weeks, went, well, I'm a retro game shop, which I was more than happy to do, and it's just blossomed from there. About 4 years ago, I picked up Civil War, my first graphic novel that I'd ever read, and it was at a Mark Miller's Kapow Comic Con, which was the first convention I'd ever been to, and I sat there in the hotel after the first day, read Civil War, and went, well, I love comics now. So I started selling comics in the shop to honestly get dibs on the trade-ins, and that exploded. I didn't realise how many people were trying to get rid of their comics and trying to sell them. And my shop got overrun by comics, so I am now very distinctly a game shop and a comic shop. There's a much bigger history there, but they're the bullet points. So I own a retro video game shop and a comic shop that isn't doing better than Game, but it keeps a roof over my head, and that makes me so happy that I get to live my dream, or one of them. Fact 2. Now this one isn't really interesting, but quite sad, but important if you want to get to know me. I suffer from really bad bouts of panic attacks. They're totally fine, I can fix them all the time, but I can get really weak, and sometimes if my sugar gets low, I need like milk and cookies and it makes me feel better. Or I can't be in, like, loads of people worry me, but I can go to a convention 99% of the time and be completely fine. It's really weird, but yeah. I also suffer from bouts of depression every now and again. I haven't really had it that bad for years, but I have had it bad. When I left Game, it was due to the fact I was diagnosed with depression. I had it 2 years later when there was a death in the family and everything just went wrong. And I have had little bits here and there, pockets, but they were the 2 worst ones. But you know, I got over it, and I think I'm a much stronger person for it. And even though it's something that does rear its ugly head every now and again, and I do have them dark days, overall I feel a lot stronger that I can battle it. I also have a massive phobia of roads. I can't cross a road without holding onto someone's hand or arm or something. Or a crossing. Oh God, not using a crossing makes me feel ill. There is some vlogs where I've been crossing the road, and I've been with my dad especially, and he'll just walk off. He just laughs at this phobia. It's an actual phobia. I can't cross roads without a crossing or holding on to someone. So weird. 3. I told you I love comics, and what I love the most after reading them is collecting them. I mainly collect first appearances and specialise in issue 1s as well. Who'd have thought? I'm going to show you some of my comics. This is my latest edition, and I love it. It's the first issue, first print of Peter Pan's Faust, which is an incredible story, and I need to review that one day. Like, I think it's probably my favourite. First appearance of Poison Ivy, first appearance of Electro, signed by Stan Lee when I met him a year ago. First appearance of Rogue, Deadpool, Harley Quinn, Cable, Elektra, Bullseye, Wolverine, cameo, Venom, The Punisher, and loads of other stuff as well. I shouldn't get too carried away, but yeah, so I love collecting comics. I go a little bit crazy whenever I get a new edition. I love it. Fact 4. Me and my dad are super duper duper uber BBBFFs, best friends forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And if my dad ever heard me referring to him as a BBBBFFFFFE, he'd kill me. But no, when I was 2, my mum and dad got divorced. My mum was still in my life, but my dad had main custody of me. I grew up with him during the weekday and then I saw my mum on the weekend. And without a doubt, me and my dad were just, since I was 2. And I was an only child to my dad as well, so it was literally just me and my dad against the world. I had a wonderful childhood. I'm not traumatized from the divorce or anything like that, and I still saw my mum and we had a good relationship, but me and my dad, we are tight. I love him and I would die for him, and vice versa. We're so close. Fact 5. I love history. I love it. When I'm not reading comic books, I'm usually reading history books. I've only recently just started trying reading novels. For about the last 10 years, I never saw the point in reading fiction because I was like, because I'm a slow reader, I was like, if I'm going to take up my time to read something, I want it to be true. And so I used to read a lot of history books, and my dad always used to take me to museums when I was a kid. He's always brought me up on local history, and I just love it. I have a particular interest in the Holocaust for a lot of reasons, for psychological reasons, like how could that happen? How could people let that happen? That it didn't happen that long ago, really. You know, it happened in the last century and it happened to such a scale. How could they get away with it? How could they let that happen? I've always liked World War II, that period anyway, but I think I've focused in on this horrible, horrific tragedy, and I think it's something we should never forget. But yeah, I love history. I love everything about it. But yeah, they were my 5 facts. I hope you enjoyed them. I loved showing you my comic collection and bearing my weird, morbid soul out to you. So yeah, thank you for watching my first kind of YouTubey video, I guess. It's the first one where I've ever had to just sit down and talk to you, and it was so much harder than I realised. This is probably going to be about 10 minutes long. I've been filming this for about half an hour due to the takes and the cuts and the tongue-tiedness. My point exactly. Well, thank you for watching. If you like this video, like it, comment below, subscribe and all that jazz, and see you soon. Bye!